So next up, we've got Tim Lewis, and his intro says, inspired by the research of Steven Pinker into how we process and use language, Tim Lewis will today talk about the emotional content of our words and how to use that content to best effect. Please join me in welcoming up Tim Lewis.
Yon Patrol, words are powerful. Words carry weight. Words allow us to express ourselves. You probably heard that old joke about how Inuit people have so many words for snow because it really matters to them. They have almost as many words for snow as we here in Oregon do for rain. You know, you got light rain, you got drizzle rain, you got steady rain, you got heavy rain, you got real rain. You know, we have a lot of words for rain because it affects us so much and it matters so much. Some of those words have stronger degrees of emotional power to them. And today I want to talk about words that have, I think, the most emotional power. Curse words. When you think about words, some really make you stop and pause, and they really affect you in a deep way. How many of you have heard of a Stroop test? Do you know what that is? You've probably seen one, even if you don't know the name of it. It's where they have a list of colors, but the text is in different colored ink. So if you try to read out what color you're seeing for the letters, your brain instead just grabs the word and says the word. So the word might say black in text, but the ink might be blue. And your brain will just say the wrong thing every time. It's a deep thing inside of your brain, like the power that these words have to get inside and really manipulate us. It's a perfect example of how powerfully connected our brains are to vocabulary, to language itself. We've evolved to have this incredible power. You read a word and there's a voice inside your head that's telling you a whole story. You're just looking at like dead pieces of trees and there's a whole script running. There's a whole movie happening. There's a voice inside your head sometimes. One little known fact about the Stroop test is there's a variation on it where they put, instead of the color, black or yellow or red, whatever word describing a color, they use curse words. And it causes the same pause and the same amount of brain activity that the first test does. It's that same frustrating thing because these words are so emotionally laden that they trigger a part deep inside of our brains. Now, knowing as we do that words are powerful and coming here to be public speakers, you should think about how you're using words. And you should be very sagacious in using them, because if you show up to a situation and use the wrong intensity of a word, you're going to at least turn people off, and at worst, like really offend them. For example, if you go to the doctor and you're like, hey, I got a problem, with my stool, he knows what you mean, but he's not offended by that. That's a very clinical term. It's very sanitized, if you will. And we have so many words for this exact situation. Let me just read a few to you because they're so fun. We have feces, poo, crap, stool, defecation, excretion, feculence. Number 2, night soil, waste, the deuce, BM, dung, discharge, manure, droppings, fertilizer, cow pies, guano, and of course, my personal favorite, a meadow muffin, coming from Texas, it's a real problem out there. That's a lot of words for one thing. But if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Because sometimes you want a powerful word. For example, The other day, I was sitting in my front yard, on the porch, hanging out, and my neighbor goes walking by with his dog, right? And my lawn is looking nice. Just got cut, just got edged. I put out the whole wood chip thing. It looks really great. And this dog, okay, he got excited seeing how pristine my lawn was. And he comes up there and just starts to cop a squat. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this happening, this desecration of all that is sacred in my front yard. And the guy is just pretending not to know, right? He's totally pretending. My neighbor, this guy. And so I have to say something, but I don't want to say like, sir, your dog's stool is on my yard. I want to get some weight in there, I want to get some weight in there. So I apologize to the sensitive, but I was like, hey, your dog is shitting on my lawn, take care of that. Because I wanted to express in as few words as possible, as sagaciously as possible, the disgust that I felt about what was happening on my front yard. And I did, and it worked. He was very embarrassed and immediately cleaned it up. So effective. That's public speaking for you right there, in action, really getting in with the public, mixing it up. Now, I do have to warn you, if what I've said so far has enticed you into wanting to get into some high power words, some emotionally charged words, you have to be careful not to overuse them. Because when you're using high emotional content words, you can possibly risk looking very reactive and almost unstable. For example, I used to be a sailor, so I sailed all around the world, and we're known for being a salty bunch, something about the ocean. I don't know. So I cursed basically every other word. And it's fine when I'm on the boat, but when I'm on shore, people look at me real weird. And I realized it was because they thought I might be a crazy person, because every word I'm using has this incredible amount of emotional intensity to it. They're like, this guy is reacting to everything. He must be a little, not regulated in the emotional content. His brain chemicals might not be where they should be. So if you're going to think about using curse words to express yourself in a more colorful way, I would use them succinctly and carefully. When you're really upset, use a curse word. It's very powerful. It gets your point right across. Knowing the emotional contents of words can make you a better communicator and a far clearer speaker. And understanding when to judiciously deploy emotional impact will help you get your point across in less time and with way more effect. So please get out there and curse some people out today. Thank you.